How common are cousin marriages? That marriage between first, second cousins. How common is that in the world? Kind of an ick factor on this video, but I think still important enough to do. I started this with the Sicilian marriage records. These are the civil records, not the church records, because they are in Italian, not Latin. Right off the bat, this normally isn't that big a deal, seeing that there's an Antonino Taormina and a Lucretia Taormina. Taormina is a really, really common name in Sicily. Not that out of the ordinary that you'd have a Taormina or a Russo marrying a Russo. But what got my attention, if we go across here, the groom's mother is Antonina Scavo, not that common of a name. And the bride's mother is Gaetana Scavo. Man, okay. All right. It may be that...
Use your words.
Okay. All right. Probably going to be cousins. The mother, you know, it could be the parents, you know, brothers married sisters, and which nothing wrong with, you know. It could be just brothers marrying sisters. That doesn't mean that they're cousins. But when I got into it and I started adding, some of them were on my tree, some were not on my tree. And if you see here, we've got Antonino, actually it's Antonino Maria. So apparently some Sicilians were really fond of calling their kid Maria. So I can only say that. And I've seen this, you know, I've seen this more than a few times. My first go-to is life ain't easy for a boy named Maria. So here is Antonino Maria Taormina and Lucretia Taormina. And again, this is a 1923 marriage record for Carini, Sicilia, where Mia Famiglia hail from. So they are on my tree. They are kind of distantly related to me. You can see here we've got Francesco Taormina and Gaetana Scavo are on there. And if we scroll, we see Gaetano Taormina and Antonina Scavo. Yeah. You can see how they're repeated on here. Because Antonino, Francesco, and Gaetano are brothers. But if we come out, we can see the common grandparents. This is what got me when I started doing the grandparents, and I had a Lucretia Passalacca and a Flavia Passalacca. So this family had a real thing for brothers and sisters marrying. Not each other, but brothers marrying sisters. So you can see right away, if we understand if you remember the European naming tradition, we have Antonino Taormina and Lucretia Passalacca. These two are named for the same common grandparents. Antonino and Lucretia. Antonino and Lucretia.
Oh my God!
So yes, they are first cousins. These are one pair of common grandparents that they do share. So, yeah, this is, wow. Okay. All right. So the question is, how prevalent is this? Now, in my research, and I've got about 31,000 people on my tree, about almost, I'd say 30,500 are just from Sicily, or my Sicilian line, because the records are fantastic. Irish records, terrible. So the big question is, just how common is this? Now, and again, I've done, and out of 31,000, I've a few dozen where I've had first cousins, a lot of second cousins. I actually did find first cousins once removed in my Irish line, where I had to double and triple verify it, and it turns out from family, like, oh yeah, they were first cousins once removed. See, and that was in 1936 in Brooklyn, not Alabama. So we see here, apparently worldwide, more than 10%. Wow, more than 10% of marriages between first or second cousins. Cousin marriage is an important topic in anthropology. I actually did a little bit of studying in some anthropology in college.
Your mom goes to college.
So I'm kind of familiar with how the marriages are worldwide, and that is just wow. So if you think the 10% is bad, once you start getting into the so-called royalty, it's off the charts how much incest and marriage between siblings or, first cousins. So we go here to the Elizabeth Windsor, who passed away recently, and her husband, Philip. The more information you seem to get on the royals, because they kind of keep the bloodline pure, and they were talking, it was all about property and consolidating power and whatnot. Philip was actually, they were second cousins and third cousins so they were like double cousins. And if that wasn't worse, if that wasn't bad enough, when they met, she was 13 and he was 18. Yeah, I they started to exchange letters exchange letters. Is that kind of a euphemism here for something sick? She was 21 when their engagement was officially announced. So 13 and 8,
that's perverse. That's
much worse than being second cousins. So I was interested in just what the percentage was, let's say, for Sicily and Italy. And it's disturbing. It's not borne out by my research, but I'm only doing a little tiny part of Sicily. See, this is not what I wanted to see. In southern Italy, cousin marriage was a usual tradition in regions such as Calabria and Sicily.
Picture it. Sicily, 1912.
Where first cousin marriage in the 1900s was near to 50% of all marriages. Why? Again, near 50% is not borne out in Cardini, Sicilia, Familia, and I don't have anywhere that I've seen in my direct line closer than third cugina, but that's disturbing. So it is first cousin marriages in Italy by percentage from 1930 to 1964. This is published in Vivid Mabs in October 2016. Oh my gosh, that is that's not. I mean, look at here. This is the laws regarding first cousin marriage around the world, and so the blue is wow. So it's actually allowed in more than half the world. It looks like that's crazy. Yeah, so it looks like most of Canada is very friendly, and all of South America very friendly to first cousin marriage. Looks like obviously a good portion of Europe. And that's kind of a surprise because apparently under Catholic laws of the Catholic Church, couples were forbidden to marry if they were within 4 degrees. So if you've got 50%, obviously someone is signing off on these marriages. But then again, they were also signing off on child marriages, and I've seen that far more than I'd like to have seen after 1900, which is just, well, it's still legal. That's a whole other video. So I'm a little surprised. Well, I guess people just they didn't bother to comply with that, and maybe apparently it wasn't as strictly enforced as within 4 degrees. Yeah, that's so we've got here within 1 degree here. Well, maybe I guess cousin is 2 degree. Not good at all. But hey, that's what got me interested. This is what got me interested, and we're gonna find things like that when we are doing family history, and that's gonna do it for this video. If you've come across a first cousin marriage in your family history work, let me know when and where in the comments. So hey, as always, thanks for watching, and you know what to do now.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.